Governor Branstad and I have completed the second week of our Jobs for Iowa tour, and we've been really pleased with the turnout. We've had phenomenal turnout at every one of the stops, and it's clear based on those that have attended and who have engaged and who want to see Iowa move forward, that our comprehensive plan of limited taxes and limited regulations is exactly what we need to get the number of jobs that we need to grow and grow Iowa and see it become a prosperous state. Most importantly is this is not a piecemeal approach. We, just as Iowans, will be working together in order to realize our administration's goal of 200,000 new jobs. We will be working with the legislature in order to enact our entire job creation agenda. One major component of this is ensuring that we know the full impact of the rules and regulations that are drafted. Governor Branstad will now announce our next major action on job creation and a vitally important tool to recognize the job creations that we need for the state. Governor Branstad.
This morning I will be signing Executive Order 71. This will require a jobs impact statement on all proposed new rules. It will mean there will be a cost-benefit analysis, and each agency that proposes a rule will indicate what impact this will have on jobs. This is part of our effort to make sure that the decisions that we make, and we recognize a responsibility to protect the health, safety, and well-being of Iowans in the rulemaking process, but we also want to know the impact it's going to have on jobs in our goal of creating 200,000 jobs over the next 5 years. We are also in the process of laying the groundwork to do a comprehensive review of all the existing rules and regulations as well. And the Lieutenant Governor and I have participated in many of the hearings that the Republicans in the Senate and House have conducted across the state, and we are impressed with the number of citizens that have expressed their concerns and ideas on how we can make the rulemaking process better and reduce some of the negative impact on the creation of jobs. And I want to, first of all, congratulate the legislators who have participated. The turnout, I think, has been very good. I want to ask Senator Merlin Bartz, who has conducted many of those hearings, to say a few words. Senator Bartz.
Thank you, Governor. I'll let Majority Leader Upmeyer speak for the House. On behalf of the Senate, we applaud the Governor's efforts in asking for a jobs fiscal statement regarding these particular rules. We have had close to 700 people now attend the Reopen Iowa for Business tour, 7 public hearings. We have 4 to go. We've had over 200 written comments coming out of those particular meetings regarding specific examples in some cases, and in other cases general examples as to how the rules process should go in the future. And I think it's real important to note that with the Governor signing this particular executive order, we applaud his efforts in understanding the ramifications that administrative rules have on Iowans. Representative Upmeyer.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that the lady we'd have liked to have had before you this morning is Representative Dawn Pettengill, who co-chairs the tour and is the House Chair of the Rules Committee. Representative Keaton is here with us this morning as well, who has joined me on the Rules Committee for several years. But Representative Pettengill has talked repeatedly with me about the number of people that have come, the things that they have heard. We've been really excited that we've had this opportunity to listen to Iowans. It's part of what we talked about in the campaigns, in the election, and now what we want to deliver on. Iowans want to be able to tell some of their stories, and I really appreciate the work that the committee is doing in cataloging those to see where we can move forward to make life a little easier and break down some barriers here in Iowa. The governor's executive order is going to go a long way in making that a reality, and I think this is just a real exciting time for Iowans. I appreciate all the hard work.
I want to thank the legislators for their cooperation. Lieutenant Governor and I will continue our Jobs for Iowa tour in eastern Iowa this week as part of this continuing effort. But we also commend the legislature on their hard work to meet the funnel deadlines. And now, of course, we'll focus more and more as we get closer to the end of the session on the appropriations and ways and means process. And so we're interested in not only reducing the regulatory burden, but also the tax burden. And we appreciate actually the House has passed out our Partnership for Economic Progress on a unanimous voting committee. So we're very appreciative of that. That's another important step forward. With that, we'd open it for your questions.
So far, 56 people have signed up to speak at the public hearing tonight. I believe 52 of them are against the bill. Any message to them? Or any thoughts on the hearing?
Well, I think it's important for people to have an opportunity to speak on whatever issue it might be. I think it's pretty obvious that there is a significant concern throughout the country on these issues. One of the things I appreciate is that the governor is supposed to be representing management, and management in this case being the taxpayers. Unfortunately, in Iowa, in this last time, I didn't get that opportunity. The previous governor just accepted the first demand from the unions without any negotiations. I don't think that's the way the system was intended to work.
Did you have any thoughts about the judicial branch increase, the 6% a year?
Well, I'm not surprised that with what's happened in the other contract that that's what would happen. And I respect the fact that these are challenging times for all of us. But I think we also need to respect the fact that we don't have the resources to pay for this, so it's going to have to come out of the existing budgets.
Could you, Merlin or Leader Umpire, talk about the difference between the Democrats' Red Tape Commission and your Regulation Commission? Is this just duplication, or yours is better because why?
I've had an opportunity to very briefly look at the Red Tape Commission bill, and I think the greatest irony of the Red Tape Commission bill is it sets up an additional commission. One of the things that we're trying to do in our gathering of information is we're going directly to the folks that are affected by administrative rules and regulations. And as you all know, they have the same effect as law. And in receiving this testimony, we're hoping that we can come up with situations, we can find and catalog those situations where we can improve the rules process, or in some cases actually, change the rules or start again in a better environment situation, so that Iowans know that the rules make common sense and that they help with job creation and not stymieing or killing jobs. And I think that's the major difference between a red tape commission, which involves a whole bunch of government, heads of departments, versus going out and actually getting testimony from individual Iowans that are affected by rules.
I understand Democrats also have their series of statewide meetings. That's what I was asking. What's the difference between what they're doing and what you guys are doing?
You might have to inform me, because I haven't heard about any meeting dates or scheduled meetings regarding the Red Tape Commission bill. The only thing I've seen is the bill out there, which actually creates an additional commission.
And let me just add that everyone was invited to participate in this tour. The Rules Committee was, the entire Rules Committee, not just the Republican members, were invited to participate, and any other legislators that wished to participate. So this was not intended to be a partisan kind of effort. Anyone would be more than welcome to be there. We encourage that.
And I was really pleased, the tour that I went on, which was Osage and Cedar Falls, it was bipartisan representation, bipartisan representation, so the legislators in both did show up.
And that was true
Yeah.
where I was too, in Ames and in Newton. We had both Democratic and Republican legislators were there, and there were a lot of citizens there with specific concerns that they had about a regulatory impact that it hurt. And this is everything from small communities like Alexander, Iowa, to small businesses. There was a car wash from Emmitsburg, to farmers that are growing vegetables that were at the Newton meeting. So we had a pretty wide variety of people that have various concerns about the impact of regulations. And our whole goal here is to make sure that we avoid these unintended consequences and that we require agencies, when they come up with a proposed new rule, to have a jobs impact statement. Now, hopefully these can be positive things that will help create jobs, as well as things that might negatively impact jobs, and we want to have a cost-benefit analysis as part of that as well.
What's the methodology for how they're going to come up with the job impact analysis? Because that's a rather inexact science.
Right. Well, what we're asking them to do is to do a kind of a cost-benefit analysis. So, for instance, I can think of one of the testimony was Alexander, Iowa. Okay, here's a small town, 61 homes, 11 of them are vacant. And Merlin, you correct me if my recollection's wrong. And they're being required to put in a central sewer system for the community. Well, the cost is going to be so great, there probably won't be anybody left that can afford to live in Alexander, Iowa. And another community I was at was Ottumwa. The mayor and the city manager were there to express the concern. They have already been required to increase their annual sewer rates to $50 per household. And there's additional requirements being mandated on them by the DNR. This is really not affordable for that community. And so these are the kind of impacts. They need to be given some time and an opportunity to work out a system that just makes some common sense and that's affordable for the communities and for the businesses affected.
Governor, on the cell phone tax, there's a proposal for a wireless surcharge fee increase to pay for some upgrades to the 911 system as required by federal law. Are you on board with that fee, otherwise known as tax increase?
I haven't had a chance to review that. I guess I want to look at that very carefully. My goal is to reduce the tax burden, make Iowa more competitive. I'm particularly interested in those things that impact business decision makers. Illinois is raising taxes. I've sent 700 letters to Illinois companies saying we're going to reduce the corporate tax, the commercial property tax, and also streamlining our whole economic development efforts and reducing the regulatory burden. So we think Iowa is an attractive place to locate. So I think we want to look at and review each of these as to the impact they're going to have in terms of jobs. And I guess I'd be interested, that's a piece of legislation I've not had a chance to review, but I will review it and all others. The problem is we try to focus on the things that we think are most likely to pass, because it's not possible for us to review every single bill that's introduced.
Have you looked at the internet gambling bill?
No, I haven't yet. I've heard about it, and I understand that there is a bill that's been proposed, and I want to find out more about that. I understand there is a problem with offshore gambling that's taking place, and what is the appropriate way to respond to that?
Senator Yoakum sent out a statement today that she'd like you to request a $14.5 million extension in federal unemployment insurance benefits. March 10th, she says, is the deadline. Will you be doing that?
Again, I haven't had a chance to review that. I haven't received that information, so we want to take a look at that and see the impact it would have. I've also heard concerns about the impact of the unemployment tax on Iowa businesses. One company, Featherlight, that I used to serve on the board of, is one that I know has concerns about the impact that's had. I also know of a company, Tom Cardella's company, that was looking at Cedar Rapids, ended up chose because their unemployment tax went up so much, they chose to put that operation in Texas. We're hopeful that, and in fact, I think they have worked something out with Mr. Cardella's companies to try to to reduce the impact of that. But one of the problems we've had with this high unemployment, it's essentially brought the unemployment trust fund down, and employers have to replenish that with dramatically higher taxes. Now, the problem with that is, every time you hire somebody, you've got to pay more taxes, and that's a real, so that's a negative impact. But we recognize the unemployment trust fund is paid for strictly by employers,
and it provides unemployment benefits when people are laid off. And when you go through good times, those tax rates went down to a pretty decent low level. Now we've gone through this extended period of high unemployment, and now we're at a very high level. Now, some states are even worse. Some states, their funds gone broke, and they're borrowing money from the federal government. We're not, as far as I know, we're not in that bad a shape, but because ours, the tax tables automatically go up as the unemployment trust fund goes down, we have seen dramatic increases, and that's one of the negatives that we've had to overcome as we're trying to reduce other taxes to make Iowa more competitive for jobs.
Representative Meyer, would you have any message to the people coming to the House tonight, especially the vast majority that are there to speak against the flexibility bill?
We'll be there to listen.
Okay, thank you very much.